怪我は一刻も早く手当てした方がいいって。まあどうせ先生なんかいないだろうけど、応急手当てくらいなら俺にだってできる。よし、行くぞ。
Tsukasa offered me his hand, and I graciously took it, squeezing it tightly as he led me back out into the hallway.
Tsukasa-kun no te, attakai.
Despite the fact that nothing had really changed, I was still just as much in danger as I had been. The paralyzing fear I'd been feeling was gone. If it were just me, I would have never been able to do this. I would have frozen up. But with Tsukasa leading the way, I felt like I could do anything.
シシド、少し走るけど大丈夫か？
I hope that old lady's just watching him. With my blessing, Tsukasa upped his pace significantly.
もうあいつが出てきませんように。
I prayed silently for smooth sailing as I followed Tsukasa's lead.
このまま司くんと一緒にいられれば安心。
I gently squeezed his hand again, as if to reassure myself that he was still with me. I was starting to think maybe she was gone. Maybe we thwarted her, but of course, just as I was thinking that, she made her presence known again.
なんだってんだ。出てこい。
An unearthly voice reverberated through the dark corridor. I immediately drew myself into Tsukasa's back.
もっと連れてこい。
There's that bitch. That's weird. Why is she blurry? Is it because the dimensions don't match? Because she sure as hell is not blurry when you see her in the other world. She's pretty damn clear. Unless she's a different person than the nurse. Oh. This one might be a new person. Must have been waiting here to ambush us?
大丈夫、落ち着け。
The ghost was moaning and wavering before us. We'd never be able to get past it.
私のために何でもしてくれる。
Okay. What?
おい、シシド。俺があいつを引きつけるから、その隙に走って逃げろ。
やだよ、一緒に逃げる。
俺には秘密兵器があるのさ。俺のばあさんからもらった形見のお守り。さっきあいつにこれを向けたら少し割り上がった。
形見のお守り？
あ
あ。でも司くんやっぱり危険。
俺？まあなんとかなるだろう。
Well, I don't think he died because she remembers him. But then I guess all people that are there remember people involved.
そんな。待ちなさい。
We really didn't have time to argue. It was closing in fast. And and as it did, I noticed the spirit's figure had become more defined. She was tall, she was a young woman, and her head turned sideways about 90 degrees. The tale of Yoshii suggested that she fell down a flight of stairs and broken her neck certainly would fit.
早く走れ!
Run. He gave my back a shove and to get me started, and with no objection, I unconsciously obliged. Tsukasa ran too, darting ahead of me for a few moments.
おい、化け物! こっちだ!
Yep.
待ちなさい!
You're breaking the rules. You shouldn't run in the halls. Tsukasa ran as close as he possibly could to get Yoshii's attention and turned tail and began sprinting in the opposite direction.
こっちだぞ! 化け物!
That's what I thought he said. I'm like, that didn't translate to ghost lady. It translated to monster. Anyway. Amazingly, it worked. The spirit began chasing Tsukasa, leaving me completely
どうし
unobstructed.
よう。私、このまま一人逃げてもいいの？
He told you to run. I was torn. On one hand, I knew this was my best chance. But I couldn't keep worrying about what would happen to Tsukasa if his charm failed. I stopped for a moment, glanced over my shoulder. He was still running, and the shadowy figure was still hot in pursuit.
司くん、お守り出して！危ないよ！
いいから、行けって！お前が逃げ切ったのを確認したら、俺も逃げるからさ！
I still can't believe I fell for it. This was right about when I realized the truth. Tsukasa had no protective charm. He just made that up, so I wouldn't object so strongly to him serving as a decoy.
やっぱりダメ！
I stopped in my tracks and shouted at the top of my
待ち
lungs.
なさい！ヨシエ先生！
Yoshie? That's how you say it? Yoshie? Okay. Yoshie. Now I know! Wasn't exactly sure what I was getting myself into, but I had to do something. Calling the spirit's name definitely seemed to have an effect.
あなたの名前、知ってるわよ！
おい、シスター!
All at once, the black figure was facing me. Though I never saw her turn around, she was flying towards me now, ignoring Tsukasa. I'm not scared, I'm not scared. I repeated this like like a sutra, and stuck one hand into my pocket, grasping lightly onto the one and only thing I had stashed there.
お前は私を知っているのか？私には本当にお守りがある。
Tsukasa's care, his effort, his beliefs, they were all packed into this pencil. When you get right down to it, that's what a charm is, right? I squeezed the nubby little thing in my pocket and mentally prepared myself for the confrontation ahead. The confrontation I impulsively initiated.
シスター! 逃げろ!
逃げない！私は逃げないわ！神様、どうかお願い！助けて！
I closed my eyes, I lifted my hand from my pocket and brandished Tsukasa's pencil intently. The gauntlet had been thrown. I was putting a lot of faith into this, and I really hoped I hadn't made a terrible mistake.
私は獅子のゆい！この学校で先生を目指しているわ！
opened my eyes to find the shadowy spirit, Yoshie had stopped dead in her tracks. Did it work? Was Tsukasa's pencil keeping the vengeful soul at bay?
私の代わりはいらない。死ね。
Oh, so she is a teacher. How? Suddenly, I was whisked off my feet and slammed against the ceiling. I could see him down below. He was staring up at me, desperately leaping. He was trying to catch me, I suppose, even though I knew he'd never reach. I called out to him over and over again, in my mind. If he could get away, if he could only survive this ordeal, then it all would have been worth it. Yoshie was drawing near. I was helplessly pinned to the ceiling. I had no chance at all. There was no doubt in my mind my life was over. I clung to the relief I had felt at Tsukasa's safety. It was the only thing keeping me from losing my head entirely. Then, all at once, the situation took a complete 180. It was like a miracle.
Shinozaki Yoshie! そこまでにせい!
Yay, old lady, I knew you were good. Before I had any idea what was happening, I found myself bathed in a gentle light. Yoshie didn't like that.
おばあちゃん。守ってやれんですまんな。せめてこれ以上邪術が拡大せぬこと。
It was the old woman who collapsed in front of my house. She was standing down below me, enveloped in a warm glow. The black shadow lunged towards her. Then there was a horrific noise and the old woman was gone. And she's gone. And just like that, I fell to the ground. Whatever Yoshie had done to me, the old woman must have nullified it. That must have been why she had come to me this morning. And why she'd come to me again now. I felt like I was going to faint. Tsukasa ran to my side and gently scooped me off the ground into his arms. Yoshie's spirit was gone. She'd vanished along with the light around us now. The only sound was a pitter-patter of raindrops on the school roof.
Oi! Shizuto! Shizuto!
司くん。
I suffered quite a bump on the head from the fall, and I was decidedly disoriented, but still had enough sense to put my arms around Tsukasa's neck.
バカ! 逃げろって言ったのに!
You big liar.
ごめん。でも。
I wanted to protect you. I couldn't bear the thought of losing you, is what I wanted to say. But instead, I just passed out in his arms. I felt as though I was waking from a long, horrible dream.
おい、大丈夫か?
Don't hit him on the head.
おい、シシド?
ここどこ？
こ？
本当に大丈夫か？見ればわかるだろ。学校の保健室だって。
保健室。
It occurred to me to look at my surroundings, probably something I should have done before asking about them, but in my defense, I was out cold. Beige walls, pink curtains, white beds, with solid blue covers. This was indeed the school infirmary, no doubt about it.
どうして？
どうしてもこうしても、お前があんなところで倒れてたから、ここに連れてきてやったんじゃん。
あんなところ？
おいおい、まだ具合悪いんじゃないのか？肛門だよ、肛門。
Right at the school gate.
校門に？私、そこに倒れてったの？
そうだけど。